Akira Kurosawa, one of the giants of cinema. Though he was influenced by a heady mix of sources, there is always something unique and unparalleled about his craft. In fact, there is a long list of elements that makes Kurosawa movies fascinating. While modern action spectacles often lose their way when trying to amplify the scale of its setting, Kurosawa created timeless action cinema through his refined use of space and situation. He understood that action driven by powerful emotions will leave a lasting impact in our mind. Then there is his brilliant ability to generate heightened realism. Everything from the dynamic staging, immersive sound effects, to the expressive performances, Kurosawa arrests our attention. However, there is one important factor that makes the master's work easily recognizable: his use of weather and nature as pivotal plot elements. Who can forget the rain and mud in the climatic battle scene of Seven Samurai, or the omnipresent fog in Throne of Blood? Of course, Kurosawa's use of weather isn't simply a trick to intensify the action and atmosphere, but it also reflects the psychological and emotional states of his characters. One such Kurosawa movie where weather becomes a character in its own right is Stray Dog, a tale of a post-war Japanese society hit by the sweltering heat wave. A poor father loses his bicycle that's essential to his job. The frantic search for the object takes him to the impoverished depths of post-war Italian society. Similarly, Kurosawa's protagonist Murakami in Stray Dog loses an object that's attached to his job. Though Murakami's economic position isn't precarious as the man in Bicycle Thieves, the loss of the object leads to a ticking time bomb scenario. Murakami is a rookie homicide detective, and the object he lost was his Colt pistol. The foremost interesting aspect of Stray Dog is how Kurosawa sets up the storyline. He opens with the close-up image of a panting dog, nudging us to feel the stifling atmosphere as well as establishing the narrative's central metaphor. Then he matter-of-factly lets us know that a crime has been committed. What Murakami lost and who he is conveyed in two simple shots. Subsequently, Kurosawa narrows his focus, offering us more descriptions and bringing us more awareness about the space and situation where the crime was committed. Concise writing and editing. You are instantly drawn into the drama. The soul of Stray Dog lies in the interplay of opposites. The ever-desperate and perspiring Murakami works with a cool-headed detective Sato to retrieve the stolen gun. Murakami represents Japan's post-war identity crisis. He increasingly empathizes with the perpetrator he is supposed to apprehend, because he himself has once almost chosen the destructive path.
世の中には悪人はいない。悪い環境があるだけだ。そんな言葉がありますが、ゆさっと男の考えてみればかわいそうですね。
Moreover, amidst the perplexing food scarcity, homelessness, and unemployment, the boundaries of morality seem to blur for Murakami. We can relate the suffocating heat with the post-war turmoil. Either way, Sato doesn't seem to be affected by his surroundings. He is simply an embodiment of tranquil and optimism that's essential to overcome the post-war despair. There is ample tension over the conflicts the stolen colt can cause, but there is no clear-cut antagonist here to channel our anger and hatred. Who exactly can be blamed in a society where people are scrambling for survival and being treated like a stray dog? Families are being run on small sums of money, whereas a large sum of money is called measly by a rich victim. Tomato plants are uprooted by a grieving husband in a country of people starving to death. So, how we can wholeheartedly despise an individual's madness for more in such a world of disparity and cruel irony? At least, the sun could have been less cruel. Electric fans, handheld fans, characters mopping their brows and tucking at their clothes. The sun is the supreme interrogator that grills everyone. In one of the most memorable sequences in Stray Dog, Muragami goes undercover and walks around various black market and amusement quarters of Tokyo for days. The montage runs for 8 minutes and consists of 57 shots or so. It's an engrossing symphony of post-war scenes. Despite the creeping sense of fatigue, Muragami's legs keep moving while staying vigilant at all times. Moreover, each shot in the montage emphasizes the hustle and bustle of Tokyo streets alongside the poverty-stricken faces withering in the heat of midsummer. Perspiring human bodies in a baking oven environment. Explosion is inevitable. In one sequence, Muragami and Sato visit a club in order to extract key information from a dancer. The performers dance with sweat glistening their bodies while the audience are fanning themselves. Oppressive weather saps the alleged sense of amusement. Furthermore, the performance is followed by a series of shots in the dancers' changing room. The camera lingers upon the panting and sweating bodies. Information is imprisoned amidst these prisoners of heat wave. There are breaks in the weather too. A breezy late evening conversation over rationed beer or a sudden shower marks a cathartic release and becomes part of Stray Dog's rhythmic narrative. Rain leads to temporary suspension of the dramatic tension while also indicating the coming dramatic resolution. It also facilitates emotional outbursts. Finally, Kurosawa hints that the unbearable heat exacerbates the psychological scars, cutting off the perpetrator from his consciousness and leading to irrational actions. And Yusa, the perpetrator as well as the victim of social circumstances, eventually breaks down in the foggy early morning. After running out of bullets, now fully aware of his deeds, and while listening to a group of singing children. Weather as an omen, a narrative device, and as a vital ingredient, Akira Kurosawa truly commands the weather.